welcome to this week's Vitalised devotional series. This week we're looking at fear. So what is fear? Well, fear is our body's natural defence system. It protects us. It tells us when we're under threat. Dr. Daniel Siegel has got a really good way of talking about the brain, and it's really helpful when we're talking about fear to work out which parts of our brain are doing what. The brain is really complex, so this is a very simple diagram, and you can look him up on YouTube. He probably explains it better than I will, but here's my little go. So this is our body here, and this part here is our brainstem. Our brainstem controls our heart rate, it controls our breathing, it controls our digestive system. It's also responsible for our fight and flight mechanism, the part that gets triggered when we're under extreme stress. This part here represents the limbic system. This part is responsible for our emotions. It helps us to be able to evaluate situations. And then over the top, we've got the cortex and then the precortex. So this part kind of ties all of the other parts of the brain together. It helps us to process information, but based on facts rather than fiction. It provides mapping details. So the limbic and the brainstem work very well together, and then the cortex just brings it all together. So what happens when we are in a situation where we feel threatened, where we feel that we're in danger? Well, that is when our body goes to high alert. The brainstem goes red hot and it starts alarming, kind of going, something's going to happen. The limbic system is there as well, trying to work out, actually, have I experienced this before, and all of the different emotions. But the cortex is really struggling. It's like, it's come up and it's really struggling to bring all this information together. And it means that we are working on adrenaline. We've got adrenaline and cortisol pumping through our body, and we're just really struggling. So what do we do in those situations? Well, we're trying to analyse a situation. We need to work out whether we're in actual threat, whether we need to actually fight a situation or run. But majority of the times, those alarm systems are activating because of something we perceive as being a threat. Having to talk in front of a camera, maybe. Having to experience a new situation, having to do something that we're not comfortable with. So those are the times where we really need to try and bring our cortex back and to be a little bit thinking about reasonable responses, about taking deep breaths. In the Bible, in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 5, the Apostle Paul talks about bringing our thoughts in line with God. God knows that we're going to experience these difficult times. And by helping to challenge our thoughts when we're in a fearful situation, we can hopefully manage those things really well. So join me throughout the week as we look a little bit about what the Bible says about fear, what God says about fear, and also how we can apply those things to our lives to help us to have faith over fear in difficult situations.